All right, everybody, welcome on back. Continuing along, of course, our Monday afternoon right here in the Cyber Group Trading Room, streaming across social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back, guys, for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Buongiorno, Andrea, who was first to the punch there in the trading room, at least. Great to see Andrea, Donnie, Norm. You guys are all rolling in too fast. All of us should be present here, of course. We have class coming up later on today. So all of our bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond CTU students, you guys have access to the phase 1 lesson 2 class coming up later on today. We finished up lesson 1 earlier this morning, simply going over tradable and not tradable stocks. We'll be picking up right where we had left off this afternoon by discussing scanning the market. Really, how myself and Fausto filter through the percent gainers and losers list to develop the morning and afternoon stock watch lists. So we have a lot more to get to, guys. And with that in mind, let's really just go right from top to bottom, or at least try to. I always make these a little bit longer than usual, but with these with class on the horizon, let's go right from top to bottom, build up our afternoon list. For anything, let's say, as always, with the VXRT, which is up on the screen here, I wanted to begin with this actually. VXRT, I think one of our students mentioned this just a moment ago in the chat board. I think someone had mentioned something about a price upgrade, potentially up to 19 bucks. Jerry wrote an analyst price target on VXRT at 19.50. I don't have Benzinga Pro in front of me. I'm going to take Jerry's word for that. Now, that doesn't mean this is going to go up to 1950 today, right? With the way this has been moving, though, across the afternoon and right near the highs of the day for right now, absolutely, I'm going to put this on our watch list going into the afternoon, a stock that we're all pretty familiar with, VXRT. I'll get to the other Corona stocks too if they're on the gainers list here, or the losers. But if not, I'll get to those at the end either way. I mean, VXRT, there's a few others, SRNE, INO, CODX. Anytime I see one of these Corona stocks up, I'm going to jump right over to the rest. But what we'll do is go from top to bottom. Otherwise, LODE to begin. Norman says LODE tanking. Absolutely right with that. I mean, this failed to break out higher from 210. Well, I guess it did. Just a quick little pop up to 212, then slammed right back down. This played out very similar to how we had covered it right from class this morning. We were talking about a stock like LODE, saying it was trading 100+ million shares by 11 a.m. Normally, when there's a stock that makes such a big move across the pre-market, across the day already, and it's trading that much volume, it's usually going to exhaust itself out. So for what it's worth, it held strong throughout the day, and it still kind of is holding strong. Obviously, a nasty 20-cent shake within the last minute. So, perhaps this is the beginning of the end of this run. I'm going to skip over this for right now in terms of putting this on our afternoon list. It was a great trade from earlier today, and it's not even for me to say this is low float. This is, the float on this, I think, is 70+ million shares. That's pretty decent. But I feel like this move is pretty much exhausted, pretty much done with. All right, Deborah, one of our new members right here in the trading room. Deborah, I think she's even a trial member joining us for the 7 days. And if not, Deborah, I still apologize. But Deborah wrote that she got in LODE from $1.34. She just closed out at $2, right underneath to it, $1.99. Fantastic trade from Deborah. Very nice. You know what? Hey, we'll have a chance to cover a trade like the LODE in tomorrow's Traders Talk workshop. So for Deborah and any one of our new members joining us here, I guess this will be a quick reminder. Make sure that you guys send over any questions, any trades that you would want me to cover in tomorrow's live workshop. Send it right over to my email address, josh@CTU Trading. All right. So yeah, LODE fun run while it lasted, especially for Deborah, who picked up 60 cents a share plus. For right now, I feel like the run is done though. And from here, we'll just kind of skim through, see what else we can get. SMRT, this was number 1 on the gainers list actually early this morning. And I guess it's still up there, but damn, this thing had a fall from grace. LMPX, not doing much right now. I'll tell you, it's a Monday, and that's what Fausto had mentioned earlier during the morning briefing. We are also kind of past our earnings season, so to say. There's always a couple here and there that will look to report their earnings, each week. But after last week, we know that pretty much all of the heavy hitters, most of the heavy hitters at this point, have already reported for this quarter. Club. Yeah, we're going to pass. All right, so we'll kind of brush through pretty quickly here, folks. PEIX is a familiar name, at least. It's shortable also. Holding strong right near the highs, though, and in fact, getting ready to break above. I think this is Wednesday's high of last week. 812, or no, not 812. Jesus, that was the date. 812. It's been a long day. I'm sorry. 442 is the high from 812. There we go. $4.42. So it's getting pretty close up to that high. It's right near the highs of the day right now. At 440 on the ask, a 24,703 share order. So as if the chart is already telling us resistance. It's shown on the order book right here. So yeah, much like the VXRT, this PEIX, we're definitely going to just put on our list for the afternoon. Looking pretty good. All right, what else we have? Some familiar names at least now. OSTK overstock, albeit pretty pricey, right near the highs of the day, breaking above last week's high. Is this an all-time high? I don't know. I know OSTK was a pretty pricey stock a number of years back. Maybe it could be. Oh yeah, I think this is. Yep, it's looking like it. Overstock broke way over all-time high back from 2018. I don't trade the stock every day, so I didn't know where the all-time high was at the time. But this is breaking all-time highs for today, and hopefully it will continue to do so going into the close. So a little pricey, but I'll definitely put this on our list just for right now. Also, really quickly, just to mention OSTK, I believe OSTK has a big affiliation in blockchain technology. We covered that a number of weeks back. With Bitcoin and the blockchain stuff going on, Riot and Mara, those are the big two. Well, OSTK actually has some big affiliations with blockchain and Bitcoin to a degree. So pretty interesting to see them run up. MBOT. So to cover this from earlier today, unfortunately, this was more of a dud than anything else. I didn't post this in the trading room, guys. I ended up jumping in this trade, jumping out, going into the afternoon. My only trade on this stock today. I jumped in from 955 right off the low here. I was waiting for a pullback a little bit closer to 950. I would have gotten out if it broke below 950, because then that would have led me to believe that the gap fill is still going to happen here, to see this drop even lower. Thankfully, that didn't happen. It ended up holding from where I'd gotten in. It was moving up slow and steady. I got out at 985, 984. I really didn't expect this to run up as smoothly as it had, so I just took the money and ran. For the close right now, I still feel as if this could fail and tank much lower, but I'm not going to let that stop me from putting this on our list. If this could hold 10, hold from the lows from earlier today, not even 10, we'll even go back to my 985 perhaps that I was looking at before, 985, 988 or so. This base was holding pretty well. If that continues to hold, we're hopeful for a move back up. So given the volatility and the opportunity, we'll put this on our list. Not going to guarantee it, though. Hopefully. All right, Kirk, KIRK. This thing's been a machine today. An ATM machine. This thing has just been going up and up and up across the whole day, popping from 8 up to 880, broke a new high going into 12 o'clock. It was kind of stalling out for a bit underneath 9, but we were calling this out going into the early afternoon off the breakout. So we've had our eyes on this trade throughout pretty much the entire day. It's one of those that I'd mentioned just a little while back. I'd said, things that I scratch my head at. How did we not jump into a swing trade? We, as in any one of us, Fausto, myself, any one of our students here, we never really mentioned a swing trade on Kirk. See this go from $1 all the way up. Holy smokes, what a run the stock has had lately. You know what? For right now, easily I'll put this on our list just in hopes of a breakout higher into the afternoon. 950 should be resistance. There's not really a big iceberg order on the ask right there, but I would assume the 50-cent level to hold pretty nicely as the top. CLVS, familiar name. I wanted to jump to this pretty quickly, but not really doing much of anything right now. So unfortunately, we'll pass on that. AMTX right near the highs. I do like that. The volume's a little weak. So for right now, maybe I'll come back to this one. Write this down on the side. Let's see. Any others on the gainers side here? I see a few shouts in our chat board, so I'll get to those actually just once I finish up the gainers list. CBAY, CBAY, nice push so far. Wow, really strong day for this one. We saw CBAY report earnings. I think it was last week. It was actually a big drop off at the time. Ended up pulling back a bit further, but obviously a huge breakout today. Very similar to a few of these others like PEIX or VXRT, where it's already approaching the high from last week. CBay, I'd assume resistance off of 7 from the offer right there on level 3. Again, only a 9,800 share order, so it's not as if there's like a 50,000, 100,000 share order, but don't be surprised if there's a lot more behind aside from what's showing here at $7. All right, cool. What else do we have here on the gainer side? Anything looking familiar? Any stocks that we ended up trading from earlier today, at least? IZEA is a familiar name. We'll see what this is doing. Not much of anything, this one. The RXT, fairly new IPO, broke out earlier today, but for right now, nothing really too much to write home about there. I saw from Gary in the trading room, IGC. There we go. So IGC continuing its move back from Wednesday of last week. It ended up making this huge run from $1 up to $2.50, gapped higher the following pre-market, exploded that morning, but dumped off. This goes to what I say all the time during this meeting. If there's a stock that we end up trading one day, we're not going to fall in love with it, trade it day over day, and expect continuation. In fact, what makes the top percent gainers list one day makes the percent losers list the next. And if it's not the next day, then it's the day after that. But you would expect at some point in time for the stock to make a second, short-lived run. If this ends up breaking higher, God bless, but that's not my expectation. I'm not expecting this to break above Thursday's high from last week, 450. Just seeing this break out nicely going into this afternoon here. I'll put this on our list and definitely to keep this in mind for at least tomorrow morning. If we end up seeing, kind of a weaker move from here, don't be surprised if we end up seeing more of it tomorrow morning, the following day. So definitely could call Gary on this IGC. All right, let's hop over to losers list, guys. I don't see much else on the gainer side for right now. If there's anything up more than 10% looking great, let me know. The UBX trade, man, for a stock down 65+% today and counting, you would have expected maybe a dead cat bounce, for this to begin to make a short-lived squeeze back up. Whether you call it short squeeze, dead cat bounce, they go hand in hand, the terminology. I'll tell you though, this thing had a really tough time breaking higher after 9:30. You see it was peaking over 5 from 9 o'clock, but once the market opened up, my charts can move any slower, you'll see that this ended up having an extremely tough time breaking higher over resistance at 5. And right when it ended up breaking over 5, we're talking about like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it popped it, it dropped it. And at that point, if this doesn't break higher, there's only one other way the stock is going to go. So for what it's worth, going into this afternoon, UBX, we're definitely going to feature this on our list like we did from earlier today. I was, of course, hopeful at the time in the morning to see a dead cat bounce. Didn't get it. I'm not going to bank on that at this point going into the afternoon. If anything, I think this will look to continue to drop off. But definitely a great stock to keep in mind, obviously for today, but even for the remainder of this week. You would like to think at some point this will, make some volatile, short-lived run up, then probably dump back down. But we're going to be there to ride the wave, catch the momentum off the squeeze back up. It looks like, though, I will say, on this trade in particular, I hope that we get that squeeze sometime soon. But I'm going back on the daily chart 20 years. This is a fairly new IPO back from mid-2018. I can't go back much further on the daily chart, guys. You know what that means? It means that this stock is breaking an all-time low right now. So with there being an all-time low right now on this trade, there's no, historical support. There's no major level back from 2018, 2019 for us to focus on. So for right now, I would certainly say your next major support's going to be on the bid in blue on the right side at $4, a 21,733 share order. After that, just keep reading the order book, but I would also focus on 50-cent increments, 350 underneath 4, 3 after that, etc. Another stock that was breaking new lows today, at least, not an all-time low, Party City. For as much as this stock moved up at the end of last week, it's on the losers list today. It is one we're familiar with, so at least for right now, I don't mind adding this on our list going into the afternoon. It also is shortable like the UBX. I think there's better opportunity to short a stock like UBX than a stock like Party City, but either way, right now, it's like a level 1 stock. So, it's definitely one that we'll keep on our list for the meantime. And if it ends up, holding support, beginning to squeeze back up, hopefully that will be the play to see this begin to, hold a higher low, begin to, run back up, maybe back to a 240. Or like a 235 even here. That's pretty strong support. CPE, not much going on there. I'll tell you guys, I think we're pretty good. We got Oxy warrants here. I'll take a look at Oxy, not the warrants, but I'll take a look at just Oxy itself. Looks like the warrants came out pretty recently. Oxy down 5+%. All right. Just trading in a tighter range for right now, so certainly a tradable stock based on what we had covered in class earlier this morning. But yeah, for the meantime, again, kind of similar to a few of these others that we've skimmed through. Not really too much to write home about on this trade, so maybe keep it on your radar for tomorrow if it ends up breaking a bit lower. Looks like a big Fausto flag building as of right now, at least. All right, so what do we have here in the chat boards, guys? If there's anything up, down, left, right, 10% or more looking pretty good, just let me know. Type it here in the chat board. Dave, who's been killing it today on JD. I mean, Dave, you let us know. I think Dave picked up like $5 a share today on JD, just going in and out across the day. And you could see, obviously, from low to high, it went from 63 to 66. Dave ended up catching, I think, part of his trade, part of his profit in the pre-market. He was in from like 63 or so. I saw another like $2 per share profit later on going into the morning. But yeah, for right now, definitely JD, definitely going to put this on our list, trending up pretty nicely. This is definitely one I would be more inclined to focus on the 50 cent and whole number levels, kind of like that UBX. But with JD, obviously, a lot pricier stock, a little bit more volatile. And then also with that, the stock has a little ways to go, but it's still kind of near that all-time high. 69.18 is the all-time high on JD. Back from July 9th. All right. Let's see from YouTube. Anything from you guys here? Facebook Live, YouTube. From RJF, Thinkorswim down all day. That's right. A bunch of our students were having issues with that today, RJF. So not just you. Couldn't get in on the load trade, he was saying. That's a pain in the butt. Sorry that you had it. I'm sorry that you folks experienced some issues with Thinkorswim. Hey, during this meeting at times, you'll hear me talk about trade stations. So every broker, every platform has their issues. They're not often at all, but, it's across the board at times. So sucks. Hopefully the platform's back up and running now. I know Fausto had some issues earlier this morning, not on Thinkorswim, but on his Orbis platform. His charts weren't loading up either for a little while. All right, guys. I think that we're pretty much good. I don't see much else in the trading room. I don't see much else on social media. So far, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stocks to work with. I think that's a perfect number of stocks, at least for right now. We're not too overwhelmed. But aside from that, after this list, guys, as we all know, roughly going into 315, 330, we'll look to rescan the market a lot more seriously from that point, see if there's anything else aside from this list that we'll look to trade going into the afternoon. If you guys would like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, CTU, make sure that you guys register for our next webinar coming up. I'm just speaking to all of you guys on social media right now. For all of us here in the trading room, keep in mind we have class continuing today. Phase 1, lesson number 2, we'll be talking about scanning the stock market just in general. So after I post the list, I'll post the link for class coming up very shortly, guys. All right. And I look forward to seeing most of you guys there. Take care.